My kids love to jump off the sofa. Vampirina's on, the music's belting, they want to jump around and sing around and throw themselves into it, and I let them jump off the couch and run around from one end of the room to the other. My friend's little girl came around the other day and joined in, and she did it, and her mum came to pick her up and she went, "What are you doing jumping off that couch?" And it was that awful moment where you go, do I throw her under the bus here and say I let her do that, or do I go, what are you doing?
It's all about your own rules, because for me, we're all different. And so I get the parents I work with to get a piece of paper, draw a line down the centre, what is and what isn't acceptable, because then you don't get any mixed messages. So to you, it's not important. It doesn't matter if they jump on the settee. So that's your style. That's, whatever it is.
Wild.
But, that's fine. And you like that because you say it quite a lot and you love them to be free-thinking and active.
Well, I love that the music comes on and they throw themselves into it.
But they've got to also learn then sometimes when it is appropriate not to. Yeah. So if they're at grandma's and they're jumping on the settee and she's 73 and she doesn't like it, you've got to be able to rein it in. So it's just a question of actually knowing what your rules are, talking to your partners about them too, so you sing from the same song sheet. They've got to know how to pull it, you've got to pull it back for those moments. So they learn, don't they, when it is acceptable and when it isn't.
Because it's that fine line, isn't it? Like, I want them to throw themselves into the sort of music and theatre of it. I don't want to stamp that out of them.
No, that's true, but you don't want them breaking things either. So if they get wild and then they're knocking things over and throwing cushions and getting a bit too over the top, you've got to bring that back for their own safety sometimes, without being a killjoy. So it's a balance, isn't it?
Ernie's granny actually moved all the couches out of the spare room so they could play football in there. Not saying that's a good idea.
It's just what it is. But if you know what your rules are and you're happy with them, then that's your rules in your house.
Music must be a huge influence in your house, is it?
Huge, we always have music playing. You were saying Vampirina, because obviously the musical theatre, my husband's in a musical kind of show at the moment, and we always have music on, especially around tea time. We literally run around the kitchen moving to music, and I grew up surrounded by music, so it's obviously a natural progression. My husband's a drummer, so he's usually tapping on something and I get my violin out, and we love to have music in the house.
That just seems like a fantastic scene. I want to be round at your house for tea. My kids are fighting, the dog's running around tuning stuff, your violin in and the music. If you haven't got music in your bones and your family, how do you introduce it? Somebody who's never been near a music lesson, where can they start?
Nursery rhymes. We've all learned a nursery rhyme. We all know one nursery rhyme, whether that's Humpty Dumpty or, Five Little Ducks. And actually, it's a great way because you're interacting with your child. You're doing the actions. You're starting melodies and music and tunes. And it doesn't matter if you can sing or can't sing. It's just a nursery rhyme. And then again, I've used what you've got in the kitchen. All the saucepans and the utensils, and you can
just make your own instruments.
Make your own instruments, yeah, definitely. Just children will respond to whatever they kind of bash together, what that might be. Whether it's putting pasta or things or rice into little Tupperware and giving it a shake. And
chickpeas.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've all had a vegan stage. A few chickpeas in the back of the cupboard in a tub. That's a good one. I feel like these are some people would think these are old-fashioned nursery rhymes, pasta in pots, but kids
love it.
But children love it. And I remember my little ones, you pull out this drawer and then they would be full of saucepans and goodness knows what. Wooden spoon against a metal spoon when you're banging is very different. It's not about analysing it. It's about having fun with it, listening to it, playing with it and being kind of in the moment. And that
actually,
is,
You're right, having a drawer in the kitchen that they can go into, because I'm constantly going, no, but having one that they can actually access, things to play and make noises and, experiment with. And music is such a brilliant education for kids. It's all about enjoying something as a team. There's a certain amount of discipline that comes with learning a musical instrument. I think a lot of people now acknowledge the importance of music with development with children, and the bond between parent and child. I find I go to a music class and it's really special, and it's a moment where you can actually, it doesn't matter if you can't sing.
No, it's about joy.
Yeah, exactly.
Just joy, because I'm very musical and I sing and play musical instruments and bits and pieces, not a violin, guitar. But for me, it's about just having that intention. But certainly for language development as well, when they're little, singing and moving is really good for their brain development, hand-eye coordination. Just have the intention. You don't have to sing. It's like when they're babies and the lullabies and stuff, just humming and singing with them. It doesn't really matter that you haven't got the best voice in the world.
Found it amazing. I had these two little, they were called belly buds when I was pregnant, that I could put on my tummy that would play music through to...
my days.
And so I did in my later stages of pregnancy. And they still respond to the playlist. And I had that playlist playing in labour and what have you. And then when they were born, when they were having moments, we were both having moments, I put that music on.
And it maybe calms them. Because I know that I had a friend who, one of my clients actually, and she was pregnant and she used to sit down and relax when it was EastEnders, right? So when the baby was, when the EastEnders used to come on, the baby kind of like calmed, because it must have been, her body must have calmed. So the baby picked up on that link.
And Harry was constantly tapping on his drum pad, because Harry's a drummer. And so Kit, especially now, if he hears Harry just tapping away, it's like white noise.
Quite a lot of parks now have the outdoor musical instruments, which I've noticed that my eldest now copies. He'll get a stick and go down the fence to sort of copy that.
It's very mindful as well, that, because I'm just bringing it back. But it is true, because you're coming into the moment with your child, so it's a lovely thing to do together.
Izzy, Sue, loads of things to think about, loads of top tips. Thank you so much for your company. We could sit here and chat all day.
We could.